Welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend. I am Pod Blender, and with me is Matthew Matson. And I got to put you full screen on this because you were fortunate enough to be one of the lucky ones, my friend.
They were in abundance, and most of the Target
Plentiful.
employees were taking their cuts of them. But I found a couple that could get me there.
The Target employee. I like that one right there. Keep that one close to the camera. All right. So, the Target employees taking their cuts, as we see Cobra Law guard. We so as many of you know, we'll just get it off the top of the show. Um, as many of you know, we do collect various action figures, toys, and collectibles. Matthew, much more than myself, and as we all know, the GI Joe classified line pre-orders are up, and they just announced some, and they go up right. And you're paying full price for them on the Hasbro or the Pulse website to get them, and this doesn't happen often. It doesn't. I know people are talking about it. It's like, oh, it kind of sucks, but then Walmart puts them out like a
Oh
couple
yeah,
days later, a few
yep,
days later
for
at
$20.
$20, which, hey, look, man, one figure's $27, right? Plus tax is
Yeah,
$30 in my state anyway. And so, you can get three for the price of two. That's quite amazing. My cousin in particular, he sent me a picture that morning as I'm getting ready for work, and or maybe that afternoon, I guess it was. And he's
yeah.
like, "Hey, man, look what I found," and it's like all of them, So he made a video about it that got a lot of hits on, and yeah, I mean that's awesome. And for those of you that were able to go out and get them, that's great. I just didn't have time, to be quite
But
honest
they
with you.
they weren't in my area for that anyway.
Nothing around me. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, there's a Walmart 5 minutes from me, and they had nothing, and no display, no nothing. And then the Target that I go to, it never has anything ever, rarely. And so it's like that going in the wild and trying to find something. I don't even try it anymore.
yeah,
Like I don't go drive by two or three Targets. I don't go by a couple WalMarts because there's no point. It's literally a waste for
yep.
me to do. And I think since COVID, for a lot of collectors, that's been the case, right?
Well, I mean, it varied greatly on a lot of people because if you could get out there, they were out there. And then, well, like I saw somebody posting pictures of that display, the $20 figure display,
Right.
and then less than a week later, it was gone and replaced with a Barbie one. Right.
Okay.
So I mean, they came and went.
Well, and I know that where I live in Nashville, it's like, I don't know how many collectors live in this town, but once the word gets out, people
Oh
go
yeah.
and they buy 5 or 10 or whatever it is, right? They're gobble them up. So for those of you that were lucky enough to grab them, it's awesome. I did message you the other day or whatever and said, hey, you know what? I'm content with letting them end up on my doorstep.
Yep.
Now, who is that exactly?
This is uh Xerxes Zesray Studios Gold Hilder, and all of her stuff comes off, and she's got different feet and things that you can put so that she's just in a bikini. So you could have her in the G string
Beautiful.
and just the top, or all geared up with all of her stuff on it.
Beautiful.
They're very nicely posable female figures with big trunks and chests, and they're fun little barbarian women that they've created, and that was the exclusive for 2025.
Nice.
And that helmet comes off. She's got another hair piece that she can put on top, so she can have just her hair all braided up and everything. She scales well with Savage Crucible, Mythic Legions a little bit, but no, it's a pretty good figure.
Looks great. Yeah, I don't know. It's just this whole thing in the last couple few days is just funny to me because, people do still try to go out and find stuff. I know that people, I'm sure you maybe have contacts at Target or wherever, right? Maybe somebody you've made friends with. and they'll go back in the back and look for the little numbers, right? You give them the numbers, they go back and check how many cases or
Yeah.
whatever, and that kind of thing. I have not really made those connections, but at the same time, it's not always the same people every time I go. It
Right.
rarely is it the same people when I go, and also it's very difficult to get help
So
at Walmart in
yeah.
particular, where
Yeah,
I'm at
well,
anyway.
Walmart is you can't get anybody to do anything.
No,
Target you
totally.
can,
Yes.
but so my Royal Guard story started like this. So I go out and Saturday morning, and I go to a store just to check in with it. I'm scanning the barcode at one of the readers that are out there on the floor. It's not scanning. There's an employee and his supervisor chatting, and the supervisor says, "Do you need some help?" And I go, "Yeah, I was just wondering if you had this in stock." And the employee came over and scanned it and says, "Yeah, it says we have 6 in the back. Let me go see if I can get
Six.
that for you." So he goes in the back, and then he comes back forward and he says, "Well, the manager says that it's not unpacked yet. It just got here this morning on the truck, so we haven't offloaded it yet. Come back tomorrow, and we should have it offloaded and ready to be put out on the store floor. Come back around 10." All right. So next morning, I get up, I go out there, and I go before that time frame. Um,
Of
I
course.
I find a different employee, uh, and I asked him, "Hey, could you see if you have this?" And he scans it. It says we have one in the back. Let me go see if I can find it. And so he goes in the back, and he can't find it. Now, um, there was an intermediate step in there because later afternoon of Saturday, I went back to the store and just looked. I didn't contact an employee, didn't bother an employee, just looked to see if they were out on the floor or anything like that. And then I was like, okay, so he can't find it. So basically, that manager just took those figures and passed them off to his buddies. Um, and then I later on that afternoon, I went to the closest one to my house actually on the way home from being out and asked to see if they had it. And they got me an employee, and then the employee went back, and there it was. They had them.
I mean, I'm surprised. I think it's fascinating though when they do that. They're like, "Yeah, we've got 12, right?" And then you
Yeah.
come back at the time or early, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then either they don't have any, or yeah, we have one. It's
Yep.
like, right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. Um, I know my cousin he worked at Walmart for a while, and I know that's how he would get a lot of stuff, right? But I mean, I don't know how many people work at Walmart and are actively, collecting stuff. I'm sure
These
some people do.
these days, I bet you that there are plenty of people that try to purposely get jobs in the electronics toy area so that they can scalp these things.
Well,
They
that
they
makes
they
sense.
they don't care about it. They just know that there's people that want it and they want to make money off of it. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's yeah, no, it's interesting to me. Nonetheless, it was fascinating that these things were $20. Not that one,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but $20 at Walmart, and yet they went up just a few days ago for pre-order at 27.99 or whatever. How that happens, how that all goes down, I don't know.
Now you
Uh,
remember the grunt thing. That was the first time that I
right.
ever really pay attention to that is when grunts hit Target for 7.99.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
we're like,
it.
what the heck is this? How did that happen? Okay, I'm getting as many as I can find.
I mean, whether that's miscommunication or whatever, and I had also gotten a text message. I think it was the day before, and Three Star
Yeah.
sent me a message, and he said I've got this screenshot. This is on the Walmart app, and it's got these listed at $20, and it had the whole
Yep.
freaking thing, and I pulled mine up immediately. Not even close. It
Yeah.
wouldn't even show them actually. It
Yeah.
showed
So
some, but it didn't show them. So that I don't even know how that happens,
so
right?
so Three Star has a different version of the app than you do.
Okay. I didn't know there were
So
two different Walmart apps
yeah,
on
there
Google Play.
there are two different versions. The other one you have to pay for. And he doesn't pay for it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
included in another service, his phone service or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
But it's
Interesting.
a special Walmart app that will allow you to scan any item in the store and give you that store's price for it, and
Mm.
check that store specific inventory. It's Walmart Plus or something like that.
Okay.
But it's like $15 a month if you pay for it regularly. But he gets it because it's included in his package thing
Gotcha.
for his service. So
Special app for special people. That's
very much so.
well. Anyway, let's say hello to Stu for lunch.
What's going on?
Try to follow this if you can. Live long and perspire. I mean, use the Schwartz or whatever that attorney who phrase goes. Attorney who? I don't know that show. I'm trying to figure that one out. Grass and
Doctor.
I figured that's what it was, but it's beautiful. I love it. State of the Union cracking me up. Yeah, I can't. I can't do it. I don't think I've watched a State of the Union address in years.
Yeah.
Many years. I'll catch the replay / highlights
Yeah.
on my phone. That's for sure. Shane, Same Time Toys, what's going on? Big Dog kind of missing his homies this upcoming Saturday. He's going to be kind of having some special guests on Smoking Joe. So you guys tune in for that. His comrades will be at
Zolocon.
Zolocon. Yep, that's right. Turk Murphy's in the house. What's up, Turk? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Graf says, yeah, woo, Star Trek. Getting some good clips from the Riker and Data podcast. Current Star Trek people are clueless. That is an interesting Brett Spiner podcast, right? From those two guys. Have you looked at that at all? I mean,
man, I can't listen to those guys talk. I've met most of them. I've met most of them in person, and a couple of them are really great, but most of them are so vapid and lost in Hollywood. It's kind of sad, but I tell you what, if you want the best clips ever, the person who puts them together is Major Grin.
Okay.
Major Grin has a Garrick Cardassian face as his avatar, and he makes the best videos on the commentary for the last decade of Star Trek, where he's pulling out all the old clips and putting them next to the new clips, and then he takes some outtakes and he takes some interesting scenes when he's got the crew members laughing or saying what the fuck or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's
hilarious.
Yeah, that's
he's
pretty
the
funny
best
stuff.
He's the best.
Some of these are about 2 minutes long, a minute long. It'd be difficult to show them, but some of it is definitely worth mentioning anyway.
And if you've got context for it, he kind of lays it out there and shows you the major differences if you're keyed into it. But it's awesome. He's awesome.
We're going to talk about a little bit of it. Look, full disclosure, I'm not a huge Trekkie. All right, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I did like Next Generation. I did like the original Trek, and then several of the movies I actually liked. Not only from childhood, but even with the Next Generation crew, some of it they weren't the greatest. The newest movies, not really a fan of.
Yeah.
With Chris Pine, and Zachary Quinto, I think is who it is. But I think it bears worth talking about because this show is really hot garbage and has been, right, Star Trek for a little while, and in particular, a lot of the modern audience messaging and pandering that is along with it, and it's heavy in this newest iteration. William Emery, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. Where is he at? I thought I saw him slide in here. Oh, that was him mentioning 3 Stars Hall, which was a hell of a haul.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Nolan, what's up, Nolan? Good to see you. This is an interesting comment. F those employees. Yeah, I guess you could take it easy on them, but I understand what you're saying in that at this point now, it may very well be that they're there to put them on eBay, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I do know that there are some Target employees in particular who work in the department so that they can make sure that their buddies get these things.
I mean, I totally believe it, especially with the way that toys, collectibles, video games, stuff like that, even is at now, where the people who have money are the ones that are actually buying them. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stanley is here. Stanley Eberhard. What's going on, buddy? Always networking and always working. Actually, it seems like Clint Jorgensen is in the house too. is Walmart's AI technology for as far as the app. Who
Yeah.
freaking knows, man? Um, let's see. Yeah, the new movies weren't the greatest, and I think Matthew would agree with me. They weren't even close to the greatest. They were great for lens flares, though. I do know
Look,
that.
you know what? There was some interesting merit of creating an alternate universe with a 2009 one. Where it went after that was hot garbage.
I
I
went
thought
to
the
the
casting
theater to
was
see that movie. I
I,
actually liked it okay, but after
I,
that, I thought it really
I thought the
devolved.
casting of it was good. You know, the best that you could probably do. Um, you know, and they told an interesting story, and it's whatever. It's Elseworlds story, but Star Trek died in 2005, and they haven't really done anything with the property since then that's worthwhile.
Especially in the last decade. Um,
Especially since Klutzman has taken over
yeah.
from Jar Jar Abrams.
Um, Clint, I don't want to spoil that for you. If you haven't finished it, Clint, I don't want to spoil that for you. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, is all I can say. Man. And, hey, that movie, The Search for Spock, right? I, not as widely, loved, obviously, but the first one I always found fascinating with V'ger, and then obviously Wrath of Khan is the one most people really, really enjoy. But I think it's because of the performances in particular,
Yeah,
and
well,
and Spock, sacrificing himself
yeah.
was
The,
a big thing actually at the time.
the Wrath of Khan was the first major deviation from Star Trek, and it became very popular. And so then the rest of the movies tended to follow somewhat of that kind of narrative, and they got away from the Star Trek ethos. So it was kind of sad to see it step away from the real science
I
fiction
get
thing
that. Yeah,
and go into the space battle adventure thing. But you know, there's enough to keep you going with that. And then Next Generation came out and revived that whole thing again. And then when they started doing movies, most of those movies were not good either. So,
yeah.
but I still like them far better than anything after 2005.
And actually, Stu, they found Spock in the trunk of an Oldsmobile. Ad. Holy moly. It's
I
yeah,
thought that was
look.
Martin Short's daughter. Ooh, too soon,
Too
too
soon.
soon. Sorry,
Um and and
that was
and
bad taste.
William, listen, I don't know if I've ever had I might have had a dream about a Target employee. It wasn't about it wasn't about collecting anything. I think Matthew's more in line with where my dream was. Oh shit. Uh anyway, con. All right. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I've got some numbers to share about how well it's doing, and some interesting images. Um, we got a few things on tap here tonight. We're gonna watch the if anybody heard about the BAFTA awards, which is kind of like the British Oscars, right? And a little bit of a controversy that happened during a award presentation, I guess you could say, and the reaction to that. So maybe some of you have seen that. It's a weird story. I think ultimately it's really a non-story, but it's been turned into a uh, a major thing in today's culture of demanding accounting, so to speak, for every possible transgression that may or may not even be a transgression, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to get your take on this, and for some of the people in our audience, because we will take a look at the numbers, but quickly, um, this kind of came down the pike, and I wanted to get an idea of what you thought about this. So, Atomic Arcade was shut down. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And
the
then everybody
studio.
said the game was dead.
So,
DEAD.
okay. So, if you guys know who Atomic Arcade is, they were making Snake Eyes game, GI Joe Snake Eyes game, and this studio got closed down uh, by Hasbro. And they had, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they make the 2D side scroller fighting game as well? The little GI Joe kind of Double Dragon ish style game.
I don't know.
But nonetheless, they had a Snake Eyes game in development, which for a lot of us um, would be, hey, hell yeah, right? Like that would be awesome. And this studio got closed. Now, people are still saying that they're, as it says here, the team is currently taking time to evaluate the path forward for the game.
Mm.
Now, like I said, those of us that play games that are 50 years old would be like, awesome, heck yeah, we want a Snake Eyes game. I don't know how well a Snake Eyes game would actually sell, considering the demographic that would be interested in a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes game. And if they were to invest, tens of millions of dollars or more, hundreds of millions, into a first person Snake Eyes game, they wouldn't make their money back. Right?
Mm.
Like there's no way
Yeah.
in the world that,
Yeah.
especially after the movie. I mean, the movie was terrible. Um, but I saw this because it's funny because recently Hasbro really surpassed Mattel in sales
Hmm.
going forward. Uh, and a lot of it had to do with them investing in games, in the
Yep.
digital marketplace. And I think a lot of that means mobile gaming, not
Yeah.
Xbox.
Right.
Okay, not
Well, Xbox
PlayStation.
is dead, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's true. Not PC. And so I don't know if anybody was really excited for this. I thought it would have been neat. I honestly never thought that game would cross the finish line, though.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing is were they ever going to actually finish the game?
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
I don't know. It's a hard market. It's a hard idea to get across, and I don't know if it would be successful or not.
I mean, they're saying it's not canceled, and this was on Eurogamer here. Snake Eyes game not canceled following reported Atomic Arcade Studio closure. Yeah, the ultimate fate is unclear. No, let me spill it out for you. I'll make it as clear as possible for you guys. This game is not coming out. Okay, that is
Yeah.
not coming out.
I mean, we can talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but it's the same thing with Star Trek Legacy. It was never coming out, ever.
Yeah, no, there. I just can't
Klutzman
imagine.
did. Klutzman didn't want it to happen, so he canceled it.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's weird. Even though you see Hasbro investing money in digital and games and stuff like that, I think that's more Wizards of the Coast. I think that's more on that side of things. I don't think a Snake Eyes game is going to do anything, and I don't think anybody should be excited for this. It is not going to come out. There's no way. I just
Yeah,
can't see it.
no, it's yeah, no way.
Um, I mean, look, I would have played it. For any of you that played that recent game they came out with that the classified line is based off of,
Yeah,
uh,
for
that game's
GI Joe
awful.
fans, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be desired on that one. The side scroller beat 'em up game, I actually wanted to play that
It,
one.
it was fun, and for anybody that out there that played it, I downloaded the demo. But
Yeah.
in all honesty, like even the demo, after about 10 to 15 minutes,
Okay.
it's not. There's just not
Nothing
a
there.
lot. Not really. There's not a lot there. It was not extremely responsive. I don't think it
Mm.
had anything that would keep people playing. I don't even think a lot of people, if they bought it, they'd probably finish it within a couple hours.
Wow.
And so then you're talking about price point and stuff like that for a game and value. And but yeah, after 15 minutes of playing the demo, I was like, okay, yeah, if I get 4 or 5 different Joes to play as, great. But probably not gonna get it done. I mean, not really. And Bobby Wold is here as well. Eric Thurman, Todd C, what's up? Bobby says looking forward to the Mattel Cinematic Universe. He-Man teams up with Barbie, and the Magic 8 Ball sends them on missions. Well, Bobby, you might get your wish
Yeah.
because if you only knew how many movies and shows are in development based off of Mattel games and Hasbro games or like was it the Parker
Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers? there are a ton of things in development like Magic 8 Ball, like Monopoly, like the Game of Life, and I'm not kidding, Matthew, it's a long list. And somehow I guess these companies thought that because the Barbie movie did so well, that,
Hot Wheels.
dude, I'm not kidding. It is
Unless they
crazy.
transform into GoBots, it's a no go.
I don't know. I can't. I'm telling you, there are so many movies. It's ridiculous. Movies in development. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Based
Oh
off of
no.
uh,
Yeah.
board games, Mattel. 16. Here you go. This is Parade. I just want to go with this list just to give you guys an idea of what happened after Barbie was successful. 16 upcoming movies and other projects based on Mattel toys. Okay. Um, American Girl doll, Barney,
Yeah, Clint called it there. He said it before you read it off. American
Christmas.
Girl doll will probably get a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Christmas Balloon, Hot Wheels, Magic
Yep.
8 Ball
Yep.
will be a horror comedy movie with Cocaine Bears writer Jimmy Warden attached.
Well, it
Um,
is a magic 8 ball of cocaine, right? I mean,
I
that's what we're
mean, hey,
talking
listen,
about.
I had a couple of those back in the day. Major Matt Mason. Oh, I thought I was going to say
Hey,
Major Matt Matson.
that's it.
Um,
No, Major Matt Mason. That's awesome. Yeah.
Masters of the Universe, Matchbox, Polly Pocket, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Thomas the Tank Engine, Uno, Uno, Viewmaster, Wishbone, Whack a Mole, Monster High, and Monopoly. Now, how
Yeah.
many of these
So,
do you think anybody is? They think they have
I
another Barbie on their
no, I don't
hands?
think so. The only one that I ever actually remembered hearing about was the Monopoly one. That's the only one I knew about. That's crazy.
It's like, come on, man. And it's all because of Barbie. It's literally all because of Barbie. And so then they thought, okay, this is our ticket to success. This is our ticket to profit, is to then make movies or shows based off of all these products. And I can't imagine, like, you are really trying to hit a demographic that, yes, has money,
Yeah.
but at the same time is like, man, that's a niche audience, buddy. It is not
Yeah.
Barbie, okay? American Girl doll is not Barbie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Clint, I do agree. The Monster High should have happened already, and I think that one has the biggest chance of being successful out of all of those because there's still a huge Monster High thing with
That's great.
preteen girls and stuff like that. So that movie could do very well, like the Barbie movie, if done the right way.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, I love these comments though. Graf says also Whack-A-Mole has potential. It'll beat Marvel Doomsday in the box office for sure. But boom. Okay, good stuff. Crusty old crow. What's up, buddy? Says, tell me the things about the stuff you sage screen watchers. I'll try to tell you. Go tell you about Mattel thinking they're striking gold with all these properties. Crusty old crow was on the Circle of Jerks today, hanging out, man.
See,
Little
where's the
special
Mousetrap movie?
guest.
Come on, where's the Mousetrap movie?
Actually, I would dig. So, Mousetrap's something you could do like it would be like an animated kind of not short, but something along those lines,
Yeah.
right? Like one of those how they put those little animated shorts at the beginning of a movie, as like a preview, so to speak. Something like that. Yeah, and as you said, Nolan's is Monster High. Monster High. I mean that's your TV. That's your cartoon.
Yeah,
Right? That's your cartoon. I thought they had one already. Um,
they should
let's see.
have.
Battleship. Yeah, they made that one. You're
That,
right. It
well,
was a
he
one.
says
It was.
that
I
that was
know.
your warning. They
Yeah.
made that one.
Exactly. Awful.
So everything's
Uh,
on the table.
3 stars. Is anyone interested in movies based on board games? And how does this shit get approved? I
Hey,
agree. It has to
where's
go
the
through a
movie
lot of
called
hands.
Operation? Where's Operation?
Again. So look, I think all of these would be interesting from like a short film kind of situation, maybe.
Yeah.
Like you probably could do some interesting things. I would love, and they would never do it. but I would love to see the Thomas the Tank Engine that is like that horror video game that got really popular a couple
Oh
years
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
where the tank engine had spider legs and chased after you. Now that was a great idea.
yeah.
No Polly Pocket, right? American Girl doll meets Chucky. That would be fun. Um, let's see here. Escape Room yet? Isn't that just like Mousetrap? Not quite, but Mousetrap could be a fun concept, though, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty. And Three Star says Operation was actually called Saw. Um,
Yeah, but those alarms went off every time, so the guy was losing.
yeah, right. Uh, that first one, I'll be honest with you, like I liked it. I went to the theater to see it with my sister, but I was actually disappointed at the end. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the ending was really blah. I mean,
Yeah.
no offense to any of you Saw fans out there. If you're a big Saw stan, no offense at all. But yeah, I was super disappointed. Secret Level, that's some pretty wacky stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
There's your market.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
where you go with that, right?
Right.
They kind of got it right with Secret Level.
Yep.
The Warhammer one being really kind of the I think the peak of
Yeah.
that. Definitely. But yeah, that's kind of where you go with that. War Chest is hanging out with somebody. Had an interesting weekend, I think. Um, and then so let's talk about this for a second, right? So Eric says, I want to start a Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So
Yeah.
you
Do
haven't,
it.
I'm guessing you haven't watched it yet, Eric. So both of us would say do it, right?
Do it.
25-minute episodes roughly. You can breeze through it. It's easy. And the finale just happened the other night on Sunday night. And for those of you that, we don't necessarily have to spoil anything, although we have talked about it. What did you think about the finale of Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
Well, I mean, we'll maybe go into a little bit more later, but it was great. I liked it a lot. And so from my perspective, having read the books, I'm like, how do they have a whole episode about two conversations? And then they made a whole episode and they filled in gaps between those two conversations, and then they tagged something on the end that wasn't in the book at all, which kind of changes some things. So we will talk about that a little bit later. But man, it's good storytelling. It's good setup, and it leaves you with questions, and you want to see more. So you can't wait till the next one.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and I will say this for a show that the finale of the season was basically just conversations.
Yeah.
It's better than the last 10 years of slop, garbage, millennial Gen Z writing that we've gotten.
Look,
Um,
it's nothing groundbreaking. It is a simple hero's journey story with a good, honorable man as the central protagonist, and he's honest, he's trustworthy, he is idealistic in so many ways and naive in so many ways. And you see how that plays out in this world of complete and utter nastiness. You know,
yes, yeah, it's worth it. But yeah, we we can chat about it a little bit. Tell you what we will do. So we'll go ahead and run them down right now. There is a movie that is out right now
is
that
there are
I
movies out right now?
there is a movie out right now that I will be going to see
Oh yeah, yeah.
Friday evening.
Okay.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Um, so if we take a look at the domestic chart for Monday, um, look, I'm no Wuthering Heights fan. I did not read the book. It's not in my wheelhouse. For those of you out there that are into Wuthering Heights, I applaud you. If you read it in high school or college or in your spare time, but I know nothing about Wuthering Heights. I don't know anything about the plot. I think it's a is it a girl on girl crime sex movie thing? Is that basically what I have no clue and really don't care to be honest with you. I do know that it is at number one, and evidently it $60 million worth of goodness for those that enjoyed it. Goat by Sony Pictures, which I look, I'm
Jada's making the toys.
modesty aside, I have been called the goat. Okay, I'm just saying it several times in life. So,
They used to call
but
me
this
Captain Cannon, but
is an that's Captain Cannon. That makes sense. The goat though, this is not the greatest of all time, but it seems to be doing okay. This is a animated movie about a goat. Is that basically what I'm to take from this?
isn't it about basketball?
It is.
Yeah.
I am. Look, I'm gonna fail you right here at the back end of February on the numbers because there's just not much out there. We're so close. Like we're so close to getting there this year with some interesting stuff coming out. I can only imagine too, Lionsgate. If you love the song, then you're gonna love this movie, especially the second time around. I'm not, I want to sing it so badly. Crime 101. Okay, send help. As you see whatever. Here's the movie that I am going to go see Friday, and that is the epic Elvis Presley in concert. If you like the Elvis movie from a few years ago, which I did, Baz Luhrmann, I enjoyed it. I am an Elvis fan. I have been since I was youngster. And this is some not before seen concert footage. This is basically a concert. And it's got narration in it from Elvis, kind of talking about his life and some other things. But it is him in concert in Las Vegas. And a little bit on tour from like 1970, like 69, 70, 71, when he was still very thin and very fit and singing incredibly well. And I got to tell you, Nolan, you're probably going to dig it because I can tell you, having watched many, many, many hours of Elvis in concert, especially that period, it's fascinating.
Mhm.
He is absolutely fantastic in that time period. Right now, it's only showing at IMAX until Thursday, and then after Thursday, it goes to regular format, maybe RPX, whatever. But it is an IMAX right now, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. But this is right after the comeback special in '68, and I'm not kidding. I think anybody that goes to see it will enjoy this. I think it is definitely worth seeing, and it is not a movie. It is a concert, and it's
Yeah.
different footage of him singing songs, and you get to see the charisma and all that stuff. So yeah, I can't wait. Lizzie Warchest says, I want to see Send Help, but I'll wait until it's on one of the streaming channels. That is definitely a common theme these days.
Yep.
Wait until streaming. Yeah, Solo Mio, Angel Studios coming in after. Good Luck, Have Fun. Now that movie, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, actually looks like a pretty damn fun movie
Hmm.
to go see. Extremely goofy. Kind of nonsensical in a
Yeah.
way. I would like to see this. I've heard good things, and I trust Chris Gore on that one.
I thought he said the other one was better, but
I know he liked the Nirvana
yeah.
movie that was out,
Yeah.
and it's not about the band, by the way. And I wouldn't mind seeing that too. I have to look for that as well. And then we have Avatar: Fire and Ash. Whatever. Zootopia 2, which has done well. 423 domestic.
Zootopia 2, yeah, the second highest grossing animated film of all time. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that crazy though? Like, 1.8 billion.
Yeah.
Internationally, just crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild though to
Yep.
think that movie is the second highest grossing,
And
animated
the only
film.
thing that ever beat it was that Chinese movie that came out this last year also.
Yeah. And no, Graph, the Elvis movie, it's not like La Bamba. It is, this is actual footage. This is like not a telling of, it is actual footage, of him. So it's not like the Elvis movie or La Bamba or something like that. So anyway, so we're getting closer. Project Hail Mary comes out next month, right? If I'm not mistaken, in March. No, when they yeah, looking forward to that. They do have, however, and I don't know if anybody's interested in this because the Venom movies that came out a few years ago kind of tailed off in quality after the first one. There is a Venom animated movie in the works with Final Destination filmmakers attached to it. I don't know how well a Venom animated movie would do at theaters. Those three movies made some money. The first one definitely did enough to warrant a sequel, and then I guess the sequel did enough to warrant a third one. I, is this anything that you really, is Venom in your wheelhouse? Is that a character you really care anything about? Does anybody in the chat care anything about
You know, I
Venom?
I cared about it, and then Sam Raimi made a movie that didn't work real well with the character, and I've never really been interested in going back to revisit it. And yeah, I've seen two of the three Tom Hardy movies, and they're whatever. They're fun if you want to watch it, but they're not good.
From what I understand, and I thought maybe it says Tom Hardy, who starred in the studio's recent trio, is involved in the animated project as a producer,
Mm-hmm.
and evidently maybe is providing the voice for him. So
Sure.
whether it's canon or not, I don't know. But
Canon, it's
yeah,
not canon, but whatever.
I mean, well, to whatever universe that it is. I mean, they were working really hard to tie that together with the Tom Holland Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
like extremely trying to tie it together.
Yeah, but that's Sony and Marvel trying to work together, and that just isn't going to happen, really.
No, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
So Daredevil Born Again season 2. Are you
Yawn.
looking are you
Let's.
looking forward to
Why?
it?
Why are we even talking? It's not even close to coming out.
Uh no, actually I don't know that it's not close to coming out.
Does it have a release date? Because I.
They put a trailer out recently. Which there's really nothing there. There's
Right.
nothing to see.
Of course.
But they're gonna. I just want to show you. This is how bad that they're scraping for news when it comes to Daredevil. Born Again season 2 ends the Mayor Fisk storyline, and
Okay.
and what? Like that's
Okay.
okay. Is there going to be a season 3? That's the scary part to
I
me.
mean, was he really mayor for any length of time? I mean, did he actually do anything? I mean, he got elected mayor and then was mayor for like 2 minutes. I mean,
It's got to what? Like I'm not kidding. It's like this is what they're scraping to talk about this show. So you're talking about why are we talking about it? I agree. There's no one is excited for this show. There's nothing about
yeah.
Daredevil Born Again. After that season, the last season, I don't even want to go back and watch the Netflix show again. I don't even want to go
Netflix
back
show
and look
is so
at that.
awesome.
I
The
know.
Netflix show is so awesome.
But this whatever this is, it makes me. It's almost like Game of Thrones because of the last 2 seasons. Makes me not want to go back and start watching that show again.
Yeah.
As good as it was.
Yep.
And they admitted that the first that Born Again season 1 was obviously cobbled together, reshot, scrapped.
Reshot. A lot of reshooting. Yeah.
Scrapped it together and turned it into whatever it was. But it was basically a courtroom drama with, I think, the only time you would have seen Daredevil in his suit was the very last episode. That's what they originally filmed.
Right.
With Born Again season 1.
Yep.
And like Warchest says, yeah, it was freaking boring. brutally boring. But yeah, like, okay, so they end that storyline. I don't think anybody cares about that storyline.
Nope.
I know it's from
Everybody
the
just wants
comics.
Foggy to come back, and he's
Yeah, yeah,
dead, but
that's it,
he's not dead. We all know
right?
he's not dead.
That's literally it. All right. Do you want to take a look at the BAFTA fiasco?
Okay, so yeah.
Explain. Do you want to explain what the BAFTAs are?
Oh no, I don't. I mean, it's a British award show.
It's what it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the British awards for acting. Okay, it's like the Oscars basically over here. This is kind of their award show, so to speak.
Yeah. And so there's so many things to unpack in this story.
There is.
The first part is only you can choose to be offended by anything, and Tourette's is uncontrollable, right? The, I mean, there's some medication, and if you're smoking your weed, you might be able to reduce the tics a little bit, but your tick for whatever Tourette's is something that you can't control. Sometimes you can suppress it, but then it's got to come out, right?
Right.
My brother-in-law has Tourette's, and his mother placated and protected him, and told him how different he is all the time. So he's 45 years old and he's never had a job in his life. He's had one job. Sorry, he's had one job. He still lives at home in his parents' basement and will never leave the house to get a job because he's so worried about people coming on to him about his tick. And his tick is not like this person's tick. Okay. And third part, this man was invited here as a guest to these awards because he was the inspiration for a movie that they made about Tourette's, which clearly anyone opening their mouth about this topic in a negative way has not seen that movie and knows nothing about Tourette's, because their ignorance is blasted all over the place about what Tourette's is not and how they have just set back Tourette's and the condition 50 years. Because literally there are people calling to segregate people with disabilities from normal population. Okay, they're talking about isolating them into a different area so they can't disturb everyone else.
So you're right. This is basically what happened. Okay, Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo get up to present an award, and this guy who was in the audience. Okay, he was in the audience at the awards ceremony. John Davidson. He is the real life inspiration for the celebrated British film I Swear. And I've got the video. We'll play the video, and then we're gonna talk about the backlash from this, because there are some really ignorant fucking people in this world.
Yep.
And so we'll get into it because also we'll get to it. So here is the. Here's kind of what happened. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I don't want to bust your eardrums because I can never tell how loud this is, especially with like X or Instagram. But here is the segment, and you can listen closely.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate.
Okay, so you obviously hear this gentleman yell out. Right. He also says bitch afterwards. As I was talking to you before we came on, most of the times we've seen Tourette's portrayed as funny in movies, in television shows, no matter what it is, sitcoms, you name it. It's always treated as like kind of something funny. Okay. That's, I think, most people's response to when they encounter or even watching a show when somebody has it. That's how they're portrayed, right?
Yep.
I could see it as an Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something, and so I think that's how most people experience it, no matter what, whether it's in real life or whether they're watching TV.
He was there
right.
specifically as a token representation for the movie. But he was the inspiration for it.
Yes.
But this was a huge virtue signal. We're bringing this guy in, and we're going to acknowledge him and reward him and stuff like this. And then this happens, and this guy's got to leave because he's afraid that these people are going to, take him out and beat him up, or worse. They're going to ridicule him, and he was clearly very embarrassed about what had happened. And there's even a section in the movie where his family's like, "We're your family. You never have to apologize to us." And, the only people that you would even consider apologizing to is someone who is ignorant of the condition that you have.
Well, it's the fake outrage.
It is fake outrage.
Now, my thing is like most of these shows are on a tape. They're on a delay, not tape delay, but they're on a delay. Okay, there's a several second delay, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. And so usually stuff is censored.
Yeah.
Right. Out of a show. I don't know why they censor
it.
Right. Okay. Now I don't know why that didn't happen. And what you started to see is afterwards, obviously everybody weighs in on it, and they're, trying to figure out, okay, what happened? Is this is what I just heard, or this is what I just saw? And so the one main one I think that most of us saw, and I want to show you a picture of the guy. Just so you guys understand, okay, who this person is, what he looks like. Okay, he's obviously not black, right?
Yep.
So of course you're going to have people that then bring it up as in, oh wow, he's a white guy, and you have two black men on stage presenting, and So I've seen some of that discourse online, okay? Probably the worst one, however, is the one here that Bobby mentions, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe some of you may know who Grace Randolph is. She's the one on the left, by the way. And you know what, 3-star, I have not seen the movie. I can't tell you whether there's any black people in the movie. But the fact is the guy has Tourette's. I don't think it was on purpose. I think most people understand that, it's also, he's invited there. He's the inspiration for this movie.
Yep.
So if this is the case, and you understand that his condition, and you bring him there, then, you don't know what might be said. That's part of the condition, right?
Yeah.
And as Nolan says, he can't control himself. He probably was embarrassed. He was, and I'll get to that, right? So Grace Randolph is a film critic. She is very popular, actually. I'm not sure how, but she's extremely popular.
Yeah.
And her opinion, she took to X, okay, to say Tourette's means no filter, which means this man thought it, okay? So he was thinking it, therefore it was despicable.
That's not what Tourette's is.
Right. Okay. Then she says about John Davidson regarding Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. I've been thinking about it and listening to your responses, because people then jumped on to kind of tell her and community note her, as we see here at the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
About Tourette's and what it is and how it affects people.
Yep.
And she says, and while Mr. Davidson shouldn't be bullied, a lot of you are acting as if he not only can't control his offensive tics, but as if he has no idea he even has them. He does. He should therefore be as considerate of others as you are asking others to be of him. In which then you see the reader's added context, so that people wouldn't see her words and just take it at face value.
Yeah.
Mr. Davidson didn't just say any word. He said a word that is deeply hurtful, dehumanizing, although I dare say a lot of people say it every day at my job, and they don't seem to be dehumanized to each other. And with not just a horrible history, but a horrible present, a word that must be immediately struck down, as should all slurs. Back to Mr. Davidson. Considering he knew this was a horrible word, he shouted out uncontrollably, as is the condition. He should have done everything he could to keep this from happening.
How do you can't prevent something that's uncontrollable?
It's it's got to be like this is the ignorance of someone here, like that. How you could have this take, like I don't understand. Like I don't know how you honestly could understand or say this,
You can't be intellectually honest or have any intelligence whatsoever,
and
and make
and
this kind of a
calls for an
statement.
apology.
Yeah.
She calls for him to make an apology, in which he actually did. As always, I felt a wave of shame and embarrassment hit me all at once. You want the floor to swallow you up. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to hide, just get away from all the eyes. I was hoping people would understand. My mind was saying these people have seen the film. They will know I can't help this. Well, that's his first mistake.
Yeah.
Most of them haven't seen any of the films. They will know it's not me. This is exactly why we're here. I was saying in my head, please don't judge me. Please understand this isn't who I am. I was trying to calm myself down to breathe, but ultimately I made the decision to leave to not cause any more upset. BAFTA found a private room with a monitor where I watched the rest of the awards, which then brings into question about segregating him from
Yep.
the rest of the room
Violating
over
the
a
ADA.
over a condition he has no control over.
Yep.
It
Segregation by disabilities. These fascists strike again.
it is unbelievable. And to me, you would think that these are the very people who would be championing this
Should
guy,
be. Should
right?
be. Right. I mean,
Um,
they're so-called compassionate, right?
it, it's fascinating, and I'm glad that Grace got absolutely just obliterated on Twitter for this shit. And
Yep.
Nerdrotic even talked about it. And of course, then she says he's sending all of his fans to her
Well,
site. And if I watched the live stream today, and he live on the air goes on and her Twitter and responds to her, and he
oh yeah.
says, "You're fucking retarded." That's what he literally puts on her X, waiting to get banned or at any time, actually
Blocked by
blocked
her.
at any
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Um, and Stanley says, I'm pretty easy going until somebody drops the R word. There's zero context to ever use it. I challenge anyone who use it to volunteer at a Special Olympics event and come back for a discussion.
See that word isn't used for the people that compete at Special Olympics. They're
Right.
used for people. It's a jab at somebody who's not being smart at all. So
I mean,
you know,
the fact is that in this instance, look, the guy can't help it. And whether or not, like, if you can't control the words coming out of your mouth, right? And that is the condition, and the fact that, they made a movie about him.
yeah,
Okay. Then regardless of what words come out of his mouth, it doesn't matter, right? It just so happens, though, that everybody's looking for something to be offended by. Everyone's looking, and they're always looking to be able to point the finger at anybody else but themselves,
yeah,
including this guy. I mean, it is truly, you have all these people out here playing victim over something they have nothing to do with,
yeah.
as if they're the most offended person over the whole thing. We're just have a friend with Tourette's, and when he chimes off, we'd all say it. So he didn't feel weird. The whole crew would chime
Yeah.
in. Now, I don't think it would work in this situation. Yeah, and I don't know if Michael B. Jordan maybe cracked a smile, or maybe just kind of,
And that would have been the perfect
I think
response.
yes, I think maybe that would have somewhat, kind of cleared the air a little bit, right?
Hey,
That would have helped a little bit.
If he laughed it off and said "What's up," and went on with the presentation or whatever,
Right.
if he made light of it like that, then he would be self-aware enough to know where he was, what the topic of discussion was
Yes.
for that evening, and get on with doing the work at hand instead of Jamie Foxx making stupid comments all over the place, showing his ignorance too.
Yes, it's and look, people are saying this is an apology by him. Look, yeah, this is not really an apology.
And it doesn't have to be
I don't
because
think. Yeah, he doesn't
it's
need to
he doesn't
apologize.
need to apologize because it's part of his condition. He cannot control it. These are not the words that he would choose to say or think or
Right.
believe or any of that stuff. It's just it's something that happens in his brain. And
Would you ask someone uh who competes in the Special Olympics to apologize for their condition? If I mean, you know, I have a girl that works every Tuesday with us. We partner up with a group here in Nashville, and we have a girl with Down syndrome who comes to work, and she works about 3 hours every Tuesday or so. And you know, like sometimes she say stuff out loud right in the middle.
yeah,
She'll laugh, whatever. Nobody gives a shit. You
no,
know what I mean? Nobody gives a shit.
no,
You know, it's like whatever. I would not expect her, and she does apologize. Like she
yeah,
will. She'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." I cut up with her all the time. I was like, girl, you don't even worry about it. You know, it's like you don't have to apologize. I've told her that several times. I'm like,
yeah,
whatever. It's
yep,
you know, it is. It's just understanding, right? And Garaf, yeah, right. Everybody that's offended by it should watch his movie and maybe learn something. And I think that's what
yeah,
he thought.
exactly.
He thought the people there, if something happened, which this is worst case scenario, okay,
Yeah,
just given the circumstances, that the people there who are in film and TV or whatever would know about the movie.
right.
And so often, I guarantee you that most of them had no idea.
Of
Like
course.
no idea. Didn't know about the movie. Don't
Yeah,
know anything about it.
yep.
And so yeah, that was like I said, his first mistake. And yeah, if Michael B addressed it right there and said he took no offense, or if you didn't watch the movie, you know, so you should what's his no offense to it, and if you didn't watch the movie, you should, so you understand. Yeah, something like that. I mean, you can see their faces in that video.
Yeah,
It is awkward, and look, I'm
yeah.
sure
It
it
was going to
was
be an awkward moment no matter what.
100%. But again, I am gonna say this: every day every day. If that word was as offensive to people as it's purportedly supposed to be, then I would see more people getting upset about it when they use it every day. So, you know, I don't know, whatever that means. Okay. But yeah, look, in 2 days, this will be a nothing. It'll be on to the next outrage, right? It'll be on to the next thing.
Yep.
It's just yeah, it's unfortunate for him, and I think unfortunately this guy will forever be linked with this moment, because anytime an article is written or the movie is referenced, there will be in parentheses, or there will
Mm-hmm.
be a short part of a paragraph that references that event
Yep.
at the BAFTAs.
Yep.
You know, that's exactly what will happen, and that's unfortunate too.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I mean, and that happens to a lot of people, man. You could spend 75 years of your life doing everything right, and make one mistake,
Oh yeah.
and forever it will be referenced whenever, you know, especially if you're a celebrity of any kind,
Yep.
forever be referenced. You know, you see it all the time. So let's get on to some Star Trek. Okay. This is a bit to unpack, man. This is a bit to unpack. So I came across this article the other day. Okay. And this article from Parade magazine, to me, is everything that's wrong with modern day entertainment. Modern day video games, modern day movies and TV shows, modern day literary works, and modern day culture. Okay. Star Trek Star says he was scared to play his groundbreaking role, and here's why. Okay. Meet Star Trek's first gay Klingon, Jaden Cragg. I won't pretend I wasn't scared to take on this role. Part of me still is. Not because of the character himself, but because I knew the reaction that would come with it. First and foremost, why do you think the reaction? He knows the reaction that's coming with it. Why do you think that reaction is what it is?
I mean, everybody in the show is gay, so I don't understand why there's any reaction to any of it.
It all pretty much is, right? Like it pretty much is. But he says, I knew there would be people who would blur the line between who I play on screen and who I am in real life, and that much of that response would be rooted in homophobia, racism, bigotry. I knew that by stepping into this role, a lot of the heat would come directly at me. Okay, he's been validated. He's people who feel validated and inspired by this gay Klingon. Um, okay. Um,
Narratively, it doesn't make any sense, though. I mean, his species is almost extinct and they're dying out, and it would be a point of honor to continue breeding for the species, and you're taking that all out of the equation.
I think the thing that I found interesting as far as this article for me was the responses from fans. If they are in fact real people, okay? I love Jaden and your portrayal of this complex character. As a gay Trekkie of color. Okay, folks, anytime you qualify who you are, so if I say as a white straight male, this is how I feel about something, I would hope that you would make fun of me. I would hope that you would look at me and laugh. If I ever start a sentence out qualifying myself, so when people qualify themselves like that, that is about as superficial, I think, if this is your most inspiring characteristic of yourself, is a gay Trekkie of color. Okay? Representation matters, and perhaps none is as timely in a very long time than this show's representation. You're a wonderful, welcome addition to this franchise. Thank you for sharing your passion and your artistry with Star Trek. Thank you for being brave. Being brave as an actor to play a role in a television show. Okay? That's the bravery. Is it brave to wear this on the set? I guess it is brave. I'd say you'd have to be pretty brave to wear this on the set of the show.
I mean, I don't care about most of this shit. I love Star Trek, and Star Trek died a long time ago. The writing on the show is so terrible. The storylines don't make any sense. They can't make sense from within one episode, much less between episodes. They contradict themselves all the time. The plots are all over the place. The storylines are completely useless, and everybody in the show is gay.
Oh yeah,
Everyone.
because as we see here, there's also Jet Reno and Laura Thok, the new Star Trek power couple, also played by openly lesbians Tig Notaro and Gina Yashir, as we can see here, this lovely power couple.
Yeah.
Because that's what Star Trek is about now.
Well, and if you go through and you watch that first episode, you watch any of these episodes, you realize that this is the most mentally deficient crew that has ever existed in all of Star Trek. The woman comes up to the EMH and says, I think I swallowed my comm badge. And his only response is, already? How do you swallow a comm badge?
Okay.
I mean, she does look like she could eat an entire planet, but I mean, come on.
And of course here's our lovely crew here.
And I've got more of a problem with a freaking hologram blowing bubbles underwater, trying to see how she fits into humanity, but doesn't, and is crying, but she gets drunk, and none of it makes any sense. She's a hologram.
I guess, and my thing is this, is that is this, I guess what Star Trek is to people. I don't think so because no one's watching
No.
it.
So this comes back down to the writers. These writers that aren't writing from experience, have not gone out and lived in the world, have not experienced a damn thing in their life except for what they watch on television, what they read in the newspaper, or watch on news channels. They've never experienced anything for themselves, so they're basing it off of other people's experiences, not their own. And so they go out and write stuff, and all they have ever heard is how stunning and brave and diverse and edgy Star Trek was in terms of the Cultural Revolution, in terms of civil rights, in terms of all this other stuff. And then they try to put it into their context for today and say, how do we do this for these people? And they do stuff, but there's no rational reason for it. When you have you have an episode in 1960s Star Trek where Abe Lincoln makes a reference to Lieutenant Uhura, and then he apologizes, and she says, "Oh, I'm not offended. We're way beyond that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It can't offend me unless I wanted to, and it doesn't." Is essentially what it comes down to. And so, in the 1960s, they were beyond this concept, and they knew they would be that far in the future. And now we've regressed 100 years, and now we're back to all this stuff again. And that's why people are offended with the R word, the N word, all these other words that people throw out there that they don't like to hear, when some of them, are derogatory and specifically to be thrown at somebody in a meanful, hateful way. But only you can choose to be offended.
Well, and look, a lot of people will say that, well, yeah, Star Trek was ahead of its time, in the 300 years or 3,000 years, 2,000 years in the future, whatever you want to say. Is that, humanity is past this, right? It's colorblind. People don't see, right? Our lives are all better. And so the counter argument is like, this is, if this is how the writers would think this is how the world would be, then it's really short-sighted because
Yep.
you're using modern vernacular for one in the show.
Yep.
You're using modern day issues to write your stories about. Instead of being, creative, and instead of like inspiring the mind, okay, the science fiction part of it, which is really none of this show at all. This is literally your case in point for a show that is chasing the mythical modern audience.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, Billy Boy, like this picture here looks like something out of 90210. And look, I'm not saying you can't make a show, an alternate show, if that's what you want to do. But unfortunately, through like Strange New Worlds or through the Lower Decks or through, it's just show after show after show is written by people with no imagination.
None whatsoever.
And again, it's the modern day.
Well, and it's all about self-insert, right? It's not about telling a
100%.
story. It's always about how can I be put in this story? How,
If
there's no storytelling that's actually taking place.
If the most notable thing, okay, as I show you the ratings for Paramount Plus, February 24th, 2026, top TV shows, you find King of Queens in there. You find South Park. You find Sabrina the Teenage Witch, NCIS, SpongeBob. But there's a show you don't see in the top 10. And that is Starfleet Academy. Is there a market for people like this? I don't even think these characters even represent anybody really.
I mean, you are representing 0.05% of the population.
I mean,
right?
It is, it's also in this show extremely not only over representation, but it's written so badly that these characters are not inspiring. Okay,
Nope.
when people write in and they say, "Oh gosh, you're so brave to take on the role of a gay Klingon," who's interested in horticulture instead of
Bird watching is bird
bird
watching.
watching
Yeah.
instead of war. Um, it's like if
But later contradicts himself because he would beat anybody up for his friends. But
right,
whatever.
but it just lacks the imagination, and I think a lot of times people will use Gene Roddenberry as it's the de facto, like Gene would be all about this, he would be for this.
Well, so let's go back and talk about a couple things because there were some things that were proposed to Gene in the 1960s, and he said no because he still needs to play to the largest audience, and if he does certain things, he would get kicked from that. So, I mean, there's no way that he could do certain things, and yet he still did other things, and he wrote it in such a way to have discussion points about some things because he was an intelligent writer and he had intelligent writers with him. Dorothy Fontana, DC Fontana is amazing, right? He had plenty of writers, Harlan Ellison, that were helping him with this stuff. And today, you don't have anybody like that. There aren't writers out there, except for very few, like Taylor Sheridan and maybe a few others, that can actually write quality characters and quality storytelling, because it has to be about the story, not about the special features, right? If a character has special features, that's different than if it's about special features first before the character.
There have been storylines in prior Trek, in the Next Generation even, that danced with some of the either whether it's same sex stuff or whether it's not procreation or whatever. But I think that a show like Star Trek, if you're intending on introducing new fans to Star Trek, that this audience, because this is how the media is covering this. Okay, the Starfleet Academy could be headed to a big queer love triangle. That's not going to draw in new fans.
Nope.
You might draw in 12 new fans, but if you're trying to market Star Trek to a Gen Z, or you're trying to market it towards younger people, guess what? Younger people, the majority of them they're straight and they're not into gay shit.
There's a big backlash in the young community right now, but against a lot of this stuff right now. And Gareth, you are absolutely right. Star Trek Phase 2, Star Trek Continues, Star Trek Axanar, all these fan-made properties surpassed Kurtzman and Abrams' Trek in every way possible, and they are a true continuation. Star Trek Continues is awesome, and Vic Mignola is a really incredible, nice human being, despite the lies that you probably heard about him and things that are not true that ruined his career. But now he's starting to come back around because that's kind of dying down. And people are like, we want Magnola back because he's good. He's talented. We like his ideas.
That guy got the shaft, dude.
He did. And you know what? I ran into him in a convention one time, and he was just kind of walking around, kind of not wanting to be seen or whatever. And I said, hey, and I, talked to him and his wife for a minute, and, because it's been a while since I've seen him, but he's doing better now and he's starting to get back out there.
So to explain who Vic is, he's a famous voice actor, okay, especially in anime.
But he also played Captain Kirk in Star Trek Continues.
Yeah. And but he at conventions, when fans stand in line to get his autograph and take a second to talk to him, he's like a lot of people we know, which is someone who likes either a hugger or someone who takes a picture and puts their arm on your back or something like that. But he's not an assaulter.
Nope.
Okay. Again, married, and accusations at a con, basically, that someone didn't feel comfortable around him because of his personality and because of him being a touchy-feely person. And really, that pretty much has gotten him
Yeah.
taken off of anime,
Yeah.
actually working, like
Yep.
actually working
They
in
took
the
a lot of
industry.
jobs away from him. And to be honest, when I first met him, I thought he was gay.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I've watched videos of him. I've watched videos of him, but the fact that it was a female
Yeah.
is the one that making the accusations and his
Yep.
personality. And yes, I could fully understand why you would think that. There is one person who definitely supports Starfleet Academy, and that is George Takei. And my oh my, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? But again, I go back to if you're trying to attract new new fans, okay, then in my opinion, this is not the way to do it because there's not enough of these people out there supporting media to
Yeah.
make a difference.
And I'll say this about this Starfleet Academy thing. Again, like I said before, these writers are basing their writing off of other people's material, not real life experience. You can tell that there are story elements in here that they tried to rip off from the Orville because they're like, hey, that Orville thing was funny and popular and people like that. So let's use some of those ideas and put them over here and say, hey, look, we did it too. And they just don't work because there
Right.
wasn't good foundation or storytelling that came with it. The Orville was great also. It wasn't Star Trek, but that's because Paramount CBS denied Seth from making Star Trek. So he made the Orville.
Yes, it's the bottom line for me is that it's this is not what people want. This is not what fans of Star Trek want. Look,
It's not what anybody wants, clearly,
by
because nobody's watching it.
look, 45% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience.
Yeah.
Of course, it's 88% from the critics, and of course, because the critics eat this slop up. All
Well, I
right.
mean, they're all smooth brain, so
I mean, but to me, with Paramount, like, why would you green light any other show after this? And I saw that, Bobby, where there was talk about them begging people to watch this show because otherwise there might not be any more. I
Okay.
think Star Trek needs to go on a 10-year break.
Yep.
It
And that's
needs
what
to
they were
go,
threatening. If you don't support this
yes.
show, it'll go on 10 years and we won't get Star Trek Legacy made. Well, guess what? Star Trek Legacy was never going to be made. Kurtzman made a decision. It was this or Legacy. He chose this.
And look, I get it. Some people may not feel comfortable like discussing this kind of stuff, but as the ratings bear out, the fact that nobody's watching it, as the audience score bears out that nobody's watching it, as it's become highly memeable with some of the scenes in this
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
um, you know, I don't mind talking about it because it's not what most people want. I'm not saying you can't have storylines, and I'm not saying you can't have gay storylines in shows or you can't have shows about gay people or whatever you want to do. Okay.
I mean, we had Will
Non-binary,
and
this and
Grace
that.
forever. I mean, come on.
Um,
Yeah.
well, yeah, right. But the bottom line is that we've seen it time and time again in the last 10, 15 years. This stuff doesn't work. It's not what people want. And then when you get
Not like
something
this. Not like
not
this for
like
sure.
this, and when you get a product, an IP like Star Trek, I mean, shit, did they want it out of Doctor Who? Because that show went extremely over the edge in gayness. So much so that it cratered.
Yep.
Disney pays for it and it cratered
Yeah. I
and
mean,
gets canceled.
they went so far off the rails with Jodie Whittaker, and then they just doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down with Ncuti Gatwa, and there was just nothing left of Doctor Who.
I mean, it just to me, it's just fascinating because they keep trying this same thing over and over, and I don't know who they're chasing because
It's these angry, bitter producers and writers that think that whatever their ideology is needs to be preached to everyone. And it's like, that's not what this is for. This is for entertainment. You have to entertain us. You
Well,
have to bring us a story worth telling.
and they ran everybody out.
They
I
did.
mean, all the talented people in Hollywood that were there, which is, old and pale is stale, which
Yeah.
is the old white guys that had, been successful for a long time. They got them all out. And this is the result of their labor, is a lot of the shows we've gotten. That's why when I mentioned earlier, when we talked about it, a show like the Hedge Knight,
Yeah.
okay, a show like that can have an entire episode be nothing but conversation,
Yeah.
blows this shit away.
Yeah.
Because thankfully, in this show, they're adapting the source material. Okay.
Well, I mean, they've gone a little bit beyond that to stretch out that source material.
They have, and they have added a little bit. They've tweaked a little bit. Now, this does surprise me a little bit, and I want to ask you your opinion and anybody that's watched it. People I have talked to at work that have come in when I've recommended stuff to them, and I've recommended this show. Now, you see it's sitting at a 76% on the fan percentage here. I have had people at work tell me that they thought it was really boring, and it was very difficult for them to get into in the first episode. I can see that, I guess, because it doesn't have a lot of action. But what do you think that is? Have you heard that when you've talked about this show to anybody?
So most of the people I talk to, no. I haven't heard anybody say that it was boring. I've heard people say it, but not anybody I know. And I can see where someone might think that, but they're 30-minute episodes. And if you actually watch it, there's a lot going on. And so I think that they find it boring because they're doom scrolling while they're watching.
Well, I think you're right.
And
yes.
that's the big thing, is that you have to watch this show. It's like Primal. It's like any good television show. You have to watch it.
You have to pay attention.
If you're not paying attention, what the heck's the point? You're trying to do too many things at once. Stop, focus, listen, watch, absorb, and then you might get something out of it. Otherwise, you're just doom scrolling on your phone, looking at Olympic videos or cat videos or whatever. Dogs curling, that was a good video. But it's distracting you from this. And then what's the point of watching anything? How do you actually enjoy media? Because if you're always on your phone when you're watching stuff, you're not watching it.
Well,
if you've seen it before, maybe I understand, because you already have a frame of reference and you've got this stuff going on. But I don't know.
But it's how we've been trained, though. I mean, I think everyone would agree at this point. Like, we have been trained at this point this is how we watch stuff. We have to multitask. We have to have multiple screens going. We have to be, I don't know if we don't feel like we're getting anything done, even though we're not getting anything done. But I think it's just, it's how people experience stuff now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to a concert and watching it
Drives me
through
nuts.
your phone,
Drives me nuts.
right? Taking
Yeah.
pictures or video instead of watching the band.
Yeah.
To me, it's like we've gotten so comfortable with the idea of having a PC in your hand and that you can do anything with it that you feel like you have to. I mean, look, do you think right now, how many people, anybody in chat, how often do you scroll on Instagram? How often do you scroll on Instagram? How long do you scroll on Instagram for?
Yep.
And if you're not scrolling on Instagram, are you on YouTube? Are you on YouTube Shorts? Right.
I hate YouTube Shorts, but that's me.
No, and I understand. I do understand. It's but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, I think it's just how we're trained now, and I think it's going to be extremely difficult to break people
Mm-hmm.
of the habit. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just not sure that you're going to get enough entertainment with writing that makes people pay attention, like a show like this,
Yeah.
where people will put the phone down and they will watch the show. They will listen to the dialogue because getting back to the days where the normal person understands a fucking story structure
Right.
or thinks for themselves instead of the characters on the screen explaining what they're
Telling you.
doing during the scene, it's
Yeah.
infuriating. And for
I will
anybody
pick
that
up
likes
this
Stranger
bag
Things,
and hand it to Joe, and I will secretly take out the $5 that is in the bag.
for anybody that watched Stranger Things and likes Stranger Things, I dare you, go back and watch that show without actually being on your phone or doing something else while you're watching it. Go back and watch it, just it, nothing else, and you'll see how stupid the writing is and how horrible it is. And almost every scene, it is brutal.
Yeah.
This show does not do that.
No.
It absolutely doesn't.
So
Um,
my wife has been watching it. I've seen a little bit of it.
School Spirits.
She actually has liked this show for a while. She does enjoy it. I haven't gotten into it because that's her thing. I let her
Okay.
watch that one. But she brings up episodes every now and then. She's like, "I think you'd like this one." And I go, "I'm sure. That sounds fun."
So what is the show School Spirits exactly?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
I'm looking at it.
It's a high school
Oh
thing,
yeah.
and
Okay.
then there's kids that died at the high school, but they're still there.
Okay.
And so they've got to figure out what's their moment to go to the great beyond or whatever. So they've got to, if they find that, then they go, right. They're off the show.
Right.
They go up to heaven or whatever.
Okay.
And so they're just trying to see things and prevent other kids from dying. Sometimes they might be trying to kill somebody, whatever. There's all
Okay.
kinds of speculation and
Interesting.
drama about that, but it's these ghosts in this high school that's going on, and the ghosts that are there may not even recognize what time that it is. Like, they don't realize that they're dead. They don't realize that they're out of time.
Okay. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
so there's a lot of different things that happen in that show. It's kind of somewhat interesting premise, and like I said, my wife likes it.
I guess, just trying to find the market. I'd say young adult, right, would be your
Yeah.
market if I had to guess. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like to me. Evil Dookie, what's up? Says I'm multitasking by listening to you and adding water slides to my newest dread knock for Knock Country.
Nice.
I think a show like this, or I think obviously podcasts, I think that is perfect, like,
Yeah.
multitasking material, right? Like I think we all kind of understand that,
Right.
I think when it comes to watching, shows and stuff, it kind of reminds me of what Ben Affleck was talking about, and Matt Damon talking about, where Netflix wants them to have an action scene in the first 5 minutes of
Yeah.
whatever it is they're writing, and then they want another one a little while later, and then another one a little while after that, because it for audience retention, right? Like,
Yep.
they know that people will stick around if you put that into your story, whatever story that may be.
Right.
But when we think about some of the greatest written shows of all time, that's what I was saying earlier, is that I don't know if we will get back to that. That
Right.
we actually will get back to shows and people will kind of put the phone down and really pay attention. The
I'd love
cream
to
rises
see it.
to the cream rises to the top. And I think the shows that really do a great job of making people pay attention, obviously, are the ones that get recognized.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we're so few of those are being made, because following this checklist of, like, hey, we know everybody's got a phone in their hand, so this is how we're going to write our show.
Right.
This is how we're going to write. The movies are a little different, at least theater wise, but I think, unfortunately, streaming, let's see. Yes. Sorry. trying to get into my HBO,
Yeah.
and it got I got bounced out. Uh, but what did you think about the final episode of? Let's see. What did you think about the final episode of?
Yeah, I mean, so going back to what I was saying before, and I was wondering how they were going to take two conversations and make it spread out across the whole episode, and they found a way. They had some interesting interactions that weren't in the books, and going back and forth. Yeah, I knew how it was going to end ultimately, and it kind of did that, but there's something that was different than the books that happened at the very end. And they also left the Fossaway thread open, and the book didn't do that either. Um,
Right.
and he's got to deal with the aftermath of what happened last time, and he tries to do his best. He's like, I felt like I owed it to him to go to the funeral, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Um, you know, what's up, Sabir?
Sabir, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Joe Fan 84, I want to say hello
What's up?
to you. And again, Stu, I get it, right? Like, I think listening
Yeah,
to this, doing other stuff, totally makes sense,
yep,
right? Now, are you talking about at the very end
yep,
where Makar,
uh huh.
do you think that, that's going to carry on into season two where that
So
should not carry into season two?
they're gonna have to address it right away because
Yes.
at, so spoiler alert, whatever. At the beginning of the next novella, the next season, right? They get into a little situation, and Egg says, "Well, we can always use the boot," and Dunk is like, "No, we're not using the boot." And the boot is they've got a proof of who Egg is stashed in Egg's boot, and if he pulls it out, then he's whipping out the Targaryen D. Right? He's saying,
Yeah.
"I'm a
Yeah.
Targaryen. Don't mess with us. You're gonna take care of us and give us whatever we ask for." And he's got this marker, right,
Right.
which is from his father, and it was endorsed by his father to give to them in case they ever needed it to protect Egg at all costs. And so yes, you got to live your life, but if you get down to it and there's a life or death thing and my son is in danger, you use this to make sure that my son is out of here, right?
Right. I mean, to me, having not read any books, having not read the graphic novel, anything like that, so I'm just coming at this purely as a show person. So for anybody out there that's on the fence, okay, that's like, hey, I remember Game of Thrones sucked at the end, or and why do I want to watch it? Or you've heard that, right? Or you
Right,
don't like House of the Dragon, which
right,
I've also heard from many people
sure,
that I've talked to. They just don't like it. They didn't get into it, couldn't get into it, whatever.
sure,
I guess the reason why you and I've recommended this show is because it is easy. It's short episodes. They're very easy to get through. But the dialogue is really good for the most part. Yes, they're adapting, which means that they're pulling conversations directly from the book. Um, I don't mind if they want to maybe tweak something or the order of something that happens
yeah,
to make the show flow better.
right,
And if anybody hasn't watched the last episode, if you've watched everything, you haven't watched this last episode, there's not a lot to spoil, to be quite honest with you. If you watch the penultimate episode, then there's really not much to spoil for you. In this end, I would imagine you could pretty much guess kind of maybe what happens, maybe not. But I think that what I liked about this episode is after the tournament fight, okay, or at least not the tournament fight, but after the Trial of the Seven, um, I like the fact they showed everybody beat the fuck
yeah,
up.
yeah,
They show guys limping around. They, having like a crutch or whatever. They show the aftermath of this thing. And I appreciated that level of like paying attention to it if you're going to
yeah,
bring these characters. Now, There is something about this season that I don't know that people are going to like moving forward is there are characters, if you got attached to some characters in this season, you're probably, if I had to guess, I don't know what they're going to do, but if they adapt the books for the most part, you're not going to see these characters again.
Yeah.
Like, it's
So yeah, I mean, there's ways that they can work around
sure.
that, especially in the third book. There's a lot of opportunity for possibilities of people coming back. Season 2, there's ways that you can write it into that story too, but the second story is very grounded down to earth type of stuff, and it's
Right.
it's it's a really simple story. It's kind of important, but really simple. The third season, if they tell that third novella story, that one's going to be pretty intense. There's a lot that happens there that is extremely important for everything that happens in the realm.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to it. They're trying to shoot these quickly so that they can get them out so we're not waiting 2.5 years or
Yeah.
whatever,
So
to
they're
the
trying
next
to do every
season.
year with this, especially because of Egg and how young he is.
Especially when
Um,
you're dealing with child actors,
right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you've got to work quickly. Yo Joe Daddy, what's up, brother? Good to see you. This is absolutely positively love it. Love Nine Kingdoms. Yeah, that was also kind of funny there near the end with their conversation. And yeah, so freaking great in the character building and story period. I agree. I mean, it's an easy show to like
Yeah.
or love, and especially look, George R. R. Martin could write some really interesting dialogue in stuff. I mean, it is good dialogue. These are really good, interesting conversations that are being had,
Yep.
and also too, it helps having world knowledge
Yeah.
from watching Game of Thrones or
But
watching
you but
House of the
you
Dragon.
don't have to, because
You don't.
this is a hero's journey.
Yes.
It is a good and honorable man who is trustworthy and honest, and he's making his way in this cruel and unabating world. It's worth a watch just for the storytelling stuff that's going on there,
And you're right.
you don't have to be familiar with the rest of the world.
Talking about it as a simple story, I mean, when you really boil down now, and I know you're talking about moving forward, but just this season alone,
Yeah.
this is a simple story. This is a guy who his master passes away. He's kind of roaming the land, and he happens, upon a tournament, and he wants to make a name for himself at the tournament. He's trying to get into it, and he gets himself in a bit of a pickle, and then he gets himself out of that pickle. And there's some loss, there's some making new friends. I mean, it's a simple tale, man.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to get into this show, in
Yep.
my opinion. And there's not a ton of people and names and houses to keep up with. They're there,
They're there, but you don't
but
have to. It's
you don't have to remember a ton of stuff. And because these episodes are accessible
mhm.
in shorter terms, is that you really can binge this show and remember what happened in episode 1, right? You don't have to sit there and think back to yourself or go back and watch a refresher. Like, obviously at the beginning of every episode they do a refresher course right at the beginning, but it is very accessible. GI Jetman, I did not know they were doing a spinoff about the comic book store owner from Big Bang Theory. I don't think
No,
personally
yeah. I,
anybody is going to really tune into that.
no, I don't think anybody's going to watch that.
I really don't.
Big Bang Theory was a moment in time where nerds and pop culture met, and they made harsh fun of nerd culture and misrepresented it in so many ways to make it popular, to make people get in there and make them ridicule nerds even more. And so I find it very much a spiteful show, even though it's funny a lot of times. But I don't think it was made out of a positive place. And so a spinoff of that isn't going to be even any better, especially with the character of Stewart.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
going to be a hard watch, and I don't
it's
think
not a
anybody's going to
main,
do it.
yeah, not a mainline character personally, and a character that
And
like is
young,
great as a side
right?
pop in character
Sure.
for a minute and a half an episode.
Yep.
Not somebody you can base an entire
You can't
show
base a show
around.
on it.
Not in
And
my opinion.
young Sheldon had its moment too, and I didn't care for that show very much, but some people liked it.
I know
Okay.
people that really enjoyed it. Look, if they couldn't make Joey from Friends work in his own
Right.
show,
Exactly.
and he was a main character, I don't know that Stewart can work. Honestly, Punk with Toys is in the
What's up?
house. What's up, Punk? Probably multitasking as we speak,
Yep.
working on something or just playing with
And
figures.
and Eric, never seen Game of Thrones. I mean, that's fine. You can watch this show. Um, I if you do ever choose to watch it, you'll get a lot more of the references. The first four seasons are amazing. Five and six are pretty good. Seven and eight are not good at all, but
You know,
they get there. You may find
it's
different about those last
tough.
two seasons.
It's tough, man. Like, and by the way, Eric, just so you know, we didn't really spoil anything from this episode, so I don't think you have much to worry about as far as the last few
Yeah, I mean,
minutes.
there's really not much to spoil.
Yeah, and we didn't really touch a lot on it, but the hard part about Game of Thrones is that you know at its peak, it really was the epitome of appointment television,
Yeah,
where on a Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central, you had to be in front of a TV that
yep,
got HBO, or maybe you had HBO Go or HBO
right.
Now or whatever. Um, but those first four seasons, like you know, man, first three in particular, are just so damn good. And it's just such a shame that they just could not land the plane. And it goes to show you how not talented
Hmm.
those two showrunners
Yep.
actually were.
They
That
had wonderful source material to start with, and once they ran out of that source material, they didn't know what to do. William, thanks for
yes,
stopping by. Robert Carradine, yeah, another one, another one that we lost this year. We lost a lot this year, and yep, yeah, I'll forever say it. Nerds.
yeah, man. And actually, that's really interesting because uh,
Nah.
I love it, dude. Oh my god. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like who doesn't love that? All right. Yeah, man. So there were a few and William, have a good night. There were a few that we lost, and I did want to bring that up actually, because yes, Robert Carradine, which is a bummer. And maybe you guys remember. Hang on, maybe you guys remember what this fella. Speaking of Elvis, you know, speaking of the Elvis movie, there you go. Look at that
Mhm.
outfit right there. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
Booger? Is
that's
that
booger.
Booger?
Yeah.
That's Booger. But yeah, Robert
Yeah.
Carradine. You had sent me, and look, I want to go through them quickly because you'd sent me a few people that had actually passed away this year and in
There's
February,
a lot of people. Yeah.
and a lot of people probably maybe don't know who these people are, but I wanted to bring them up really quickly because you probably know some of their work. For instance, Jane Bear,
Yep.
animator on Roger Rabbit, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. What's that? Fox and Hound.
Yep.
Um, so 2026, and I think all these were in February, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yeah, I believe the ones that I sent you were,
and then you have
but you had several before that
Eric
too.
Eric Peter,
Yep.
who voiced Nappa, Kratos, Doctor Robotnik, and Aokiji. I know
Yep.
I'm not pronouncing that very good in France. So like a French voice actor. Um, you have let's see here. Let me bring it up.
G.I. Jetman. What John Wayne movie was that again? I think you might be thinking of the wrong Carradine.
Was it? Yeah, that was not this one, but
Yeah.
uh, hang on real quick. Sorry, lost my thought. Here we go.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Dolores Munoz, the longest living voice actress in Mexico and the world, passed away at the age of 107. 107. Um, who's that right there on the right of the screen? Is that the sorceress?
Yeah, it sure is.
Um, the fact that all of these were like February of 2026 is fascinating. Guy Moon, who composed Fairly Odd Parents, which is a wild show if you've ever seen it, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good
Uh,
show.
Two Stupid Dogs, Cow and Chicken,
Yeah.
Ned's Declassified, Big Time Rush, Back in the Barnyard. 63 passed away. Now that was back in January, okay? But still, like
Yeah,
all of these
that wasn't
people,
Robert Carradine.
that was it Keith?
I'd have to go look at. Was it David? Might have been
David. It was
David.
David. It was David.
It had to be David.
It was
David's.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was David. Um,
Kill Bill.
yes, there you go. There you go. And then hang on. Let's see. One more. Okay. Brazilian voice actor. What is it with the voice actors that are dying all of a sudden, like this year? Uh, all of these characters. I love the one that says Tom Cruise. And then you have what? Hank from Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
What? Like, wait. I love it. But you sent me that and I thought, is someone killing off foreign voice actors and animators? What the hell's good? This is a conspiracy, Matthew.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. It says it was Robert. He played Slim. Really? I actually have no
don't see
idea.
it.
I will say I don't know the John Wayne film catalog that well. But it says The Cowboys is a 1972 American Western film. It says Robert Carradine once reduced to tears by John Wayne after a rookie mistake on the Cowboys set. Says he wasn't interested in entering the family business of acting when he ended up with an opportunity for a role in The Cowboys with one John Wayne. He got his start opposite John Wayne in The Cowboys in 1972. Right here. Look at that. Look at those two spry kids having a good laugh on the set.
Al
Is that-
Martinez was in that too.
Is
I
that
like that guy.
Jeffrey Epstein in the background?
Oh.
Wait, no. Say it
Whoa.
ain't so, John. Say it ain't so.
Now he
Who
played
knows?
Slim, but Slim Pickens was in that movie too. So you know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no doubt. It wasn't Slim Pickens for old Jeffrey, was it? Anyway, so but-a-bumps. Let's see. R.I.P.
Yep.
actors.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek. There's the what's her
Yeah,
name?
James
Catherine O'Hara.
Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was he had been battling that for a couple years actually. That's a shame. I mean, still way too young, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, tell you what. Let's finish things off with a Spider Noir trailer. do
Hold
you
on a
think?
second. I got something here that I want to show
Yeah.
you that nobody else has.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to say nobody. There's some people that have them.
Well, we don't know. Maybe
For-
nobody does
For the
have it.
first 36 classified figures,
Ooh.
I've got file cards for all of them
How did you get those?
that somebody made online that I had contact with, and he, I don't have contact with him anymore. I don't know what he did, but he put all the stats on there for all the classified figures, looked them all up, put them all on there. He did the first 36, and he started with 00 Snake Eyes. And then each one of them was a little bit different, even the second Snake Eyes. So he used a different picture. For the Cobra Island, here he is, number 11. The Cobra Island roadblock. You've got the roadblock.
Yep.
Or heavy duty, if you wanted to call him heavy duty.
Really? Fascinating.
Then,
that's pretty cool. Very nice.
Daddy Destro there.
Oh, yeah. Profit Director, is that son of a bitch?
Yep, you got that one in there. And then there's all the different Zartans. Flint, where's the other one I was looking for? There's Alpha Commando Snake Eyes. But he did one for Timber as well.
What? Okay, so who was that again? Who is that did those? Where did you get those?
There's a guy in one of the chats in the forums on Facebook, and I contacted him, and he either deleted his Facebook or blocked me, or I don't know what, because I don't have his information anymore. But I tried to connect him with Punk and some other people and say, hey, this is really neat.
Yeah.
And if you look at those file cards, they look a heck of a lot like what Classified is doing right now. So he might have transferred his skills over somewhere else.
They look good. Those look good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit you can find on Etsy too, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff you can find on Etsy that you might find something like that.
I wish you could still get them. He printed off so many of them, and then once he was sold out of them, he stopped making them. And then after that last bunch at 36, when he got to Spirit at 36, he said, "I'm done. I'm not making them anymore."
Okay.
And that was that.
Well, you know what? I bet a lot of people probably could make their own.
Yeah.
And with a really easy template, actually.
Yep.
You could go to Canva probably and literally make your own, send them to,
I mean, it's got the
Kinko's?
faction.
I don't know, are they still around?
It's got all the information up there, the code name, all that stuff.
It's awesome.
The number, and then all of the stats listed out. So you actually put what the stats actually mean down there.
Okay, now that's actually critical, because Lord knows I don't know what the hell those things even mean on the side of the boxes. But my question is, does it have their pronouns, especially Timbers?
Of course. No. There's nothing like that.
Damn. Well, then I can't buy them. I'm sorry, I can't get them. Well, I can't get them anyway. That's right. Well,
that's right.
Screw me. Those things mean something. Yeah, to those who care about them, evidently they do, right? And Evil Dookie says, I started making file cards for my customs. Now that's cool.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
Super cool. And I would expect nothing less. Absolutely. And G.I. Jet, man, that is a cool thing actually to go through and maybe find at a toy store or something like that, is either find the old fold-out ads, right, that used to come with the vehicles or whatever, or just find the file cards. At my local toy shop, they had a whole bunch of them in a Ziploc bag.
And something else that you could have done is you could have supported Carson Metaxas when he made the printout posters of all the file cards, or his other Kickstarter where he has the complete guide for the 1982 to 1994 action figure guide, where you can look at each individual figure and all of their accessories. There's a file card one.
That's the pocket. Isn't it the pocket guide that has the actual size? And so you can, if you're shopping for the O-ring figures, you can make sure you're not getting gypped or duped at a flea market by looking and comparing.
And so he has all the different variations of the file cards, all the different variations of the figures and their accessories and all that kind of stuff, so that you can know what you're looking at.
Look at this handsome man. Look at that handsome man.
You got the colorized version?
A very dark wig. I just pulled it up. It's
the black and white version is so better.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Like I can find it. I mean, it's pretty easy. I just, this is what came up when I typed up Spider-Man Noir. But we'll do the black and white. Now, I actually went back when I first saw this trailer. I watched it in like 0.25 speed at one segment where that
Yep.
weird Spider-Man thing
Yep.
turns around or whatever.
Yep.
Because I wanted to see what it was because it flashes so quickly.
Right.
But we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. This is the Spider-Man Noir trailer. And pretty neat. Nicolas Cage. So hopefully this is good. Let's check it out.
Tell me why.
You already know how it ends.
Well, then start from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm glad it's gonna be on Prime. That would be good.
Me too. Yeah.
Thoughts. Impulses. I manage to suppress them
Ben Riley.
most of the time.
What's going on, Ben?
Wait, what the hell happened to him?
I beat up some guys in a bar. And I got plastered.
That's Nick Cage.
What are you thinking about over there?
Bit of an existential crisis, if I'm honest.
Struck a nerve, huh?
I like it. Yes, it is real. It is
Yep.
real, Garaf.
No,
That
yeah.
is a real show. So yeah. What was
Yep.
that premiere date again? What'd that say? Back it up. Try to
It's coming
figure
pretty
out.
soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to catch it. I thought that it's May 27th.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it is real. 610 Yojo Daddy, take it easy, man. Have a good night. Thanks for dropping by, brother, and hanging out and keeping us on in the background. It's like foreground, background works for me. I'll take it all. Joe Fan 84 looks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah, I'm a Nick Cage fan anyway. I mean, his over the topness is awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate what the kind of stuff that he does. And I liked his character from Into the Spider-Verse. So having a chance to explore this in live action, I think is really interesting. Yes, he's Ben Riley.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. I remember hearing about this. I don't think you and I really talked about it much.
Yeah.
Kind of been a little, I don't know, not underground, I guess, but definitely has not been something that you kept seeing like recurring in the news.
Yeah.
Right. Like
So G.I. Jetman, I believe Ben Riley was his Peter Parker's grandfather in the storyline, and that's why the clone took the name Ben Riley later on.
Let's see. Get the overview for this. I was trying to see because Stu said is that the Lord brothers making this.
No, I don't think it's Lord Miller.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see.
If that's what you mean, I don't know who the Lord brothers are, but if you mean Lord and Miller, those guys, they're working on what is it they're working on right now? Project Hail Mary is their movie that's coming out right now.
Yes, which next month, right?
Yeah,
If I remember right. Yeah,
end of the month.
Let's see. Here we go, just to give you an idea. Harry Bradbeer from Fleabag directed and executive produced the first 2 episodes. Oren Uziel and Steve Lightfoot from The Punisher and The Lost City previous service, co-showrunners, executive producers. And then it says it did develop the series with a team behind the Into the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Amy Pascal. But it looks like, I guess, maybe they helped develop it, but it doesn't look like they're really maybe involved in running the series, but maybe just help kind of get it together. That's what it seems like. So yeah, that's Stu. Stu is kind of right on the money there. So yeah, looks cool, man. And you can watch it in black and white, or you can watch it in color. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, man. I mean, I'll watch it for sure, man. I'm a sucker
yeah, I'm
for,
absolutely gonna watch it.
I mean, I do like Nick Cage. I don't like all of his stuff, but I do like Nick Cage and Spider-Man. I've always thought that the noir character was an interesting take
Yeah,
on Spider-Man.
sure.
And so yeah, if it's done well, it could be fun. I don't know if they're planning multiple seasons. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nick Cage would push for a certain level of quality. I know he's made some interesting choices, but I think that for his part, he's going to do his best with it.
Oh
So
yeah,
it should be
sure.
good.
I think you'll probably get some prime Nick Cage moments out of this show.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Okay, well, I think it's time to get out of here, man. Time to say good night. Let's see. Let's show you one more time. Let's put that dude up there. Is he Hadouken? Look at them feet, man. Nice sandals. Beautiful. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll be back obviously on Tuesday. Getting closer and closer, man. I can't wait. Weather's getting a little bit warmer here and there. Getting closer to movie season. We
It's going
got
to be
some
80
stuff
degrees
going
this
on.
weekend where I'm at.
Right. Yeah, we're up to almost 70 on Saturday, so I can't wait. Yeah, it's a badass figure. But yeah, man, you guys, y'all take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back obviously next Tuesday, and I'll rep 3-Star Draw and Krusty Old Crow tomorrow night with the Backyard Battlefield. I do not know what they're talking about yet. I have not seen a thumbnail or anything like that. But you guys will know where to find them. And then, and hopefully, permitting no migraine, I should stream on Sunday night. But yeah, migraine did me no favors on Saturday.
No,
That's for
yeah,
sure. Dude,
not-
yeah, the effects of this one lasted a couple days. So it's a
Wow.
bummer. But
Yeah.
y'all take it easy, and we will see y'all next time, man. Appreciate it.